Hello, back again to do another unboxing and review. This time, continuing with my Beyblade Burst series, we have yet another top to look at. This time around, it's the Odax O2, which you may have guessed is the upgraded version of the original Odax, which I have right here. Okay, but you're probably looking at the box and saying, wait, there's two tops in there, and yes, you are correct. This isn't the first time that a Beyblade Burst pack has included two tops, but it is a first for them having two Tier 2 tops. So you might notice that there's also the Wyvern in here. He's the W2, so that's the upgrade Wyvern and then the upgrade Odax. So from what I recall, and I've bought quite a few of these, I must say, this is the first time I've even seen two Tier 2 tops in one pack. Also, if you've viewed my previous videos, you might have noticed the Wyvern W2 has changed color. As you see here, the Wyvern W2, the red one there on the left, wasn't always red, but instead it used to be purple. Purple top and orange bottom, and here it's switched to a black performance tip. The ring, of course, is still the same color since it's the metal material. So I have checked the specs, and the Wyvern W2 hasn't changed spec-wise. His parts are the same. It's just that this is colored red and that's colored black, which is a color palette swap. So, but let's go ahead and focus on the topic of this video, which is, of course, the Odax O2. So I have right here the original spec the spec sheet for the original Odax. And we'll do a side-by-side comparison on the specs. So, okay, so there we go. So doing a side-by-side comparison, you can probably notice there is a difference. And in fact, this top, the Odax O2, is a +2 top. So what that means is that if you add up all those attribute points, the Odax O2 has 2 more ability points total than the Odax original. And actually, this is kind of another, I would say it's another difference here, is that for a while now, all the Tier 2 tops have usually been +1s. So this is a +2, so it's kind of stepping up the game there, turning up the heat. Alright, and I'll go ahead and open it up now. Alright, so I got it open here, and so what was included inside? We have the instructions here. Since I've been getting so many of these, I haven't looked at the basic instructions for quite some time. So I'm not quite sure if these visuals you're seeing here have changed, but it is pretty cool that they give you here kind of a picture instructions of how to win and what is a ring out versus a burst worth point-wise. So that's cool. Okay. One thing that isn't in this package is the new poster that they've been including, where it's a double-sided color poster and it has all the tops listed and their specs. So you have essentially a spec sheet made into poster form. That isn't included in this. So as you would get that in one that just has one top. So if this was just the Odax O2 in a pack all by himself, it seems that's how you get that poster. Okay. But let's get to the top, right? Okay, so here are the tops. I've gone ahead and cut off the band that holds in, and I just took out the Odax O2, since that's what this video is about. So here are his parts, and before we get to that, let's go ahead and look at the Odax regular up close. Okay, so taking him apart here. Here is the regular Odax's energy layer. And here goes the forge disc. And the performance tip. Alright, now let's go over to the Odax O2. Here's the energy layer. Alright, forge disc. And performance tip. Alright, so now let's go ahead and compare them side by side with the corresponding layers. So on the left, we'll have the regular Odax, and on the right, we'll have the O2. So starting with the energy layer, you can see they kept the this a little throwing star, the shuriken motif. They've kept that. However, the O2 has the inclusion of these big, which I'm assuming are swords. And you can see that they act actually as ramps. So you have two big ramps, one on either side. As far as other protrusions, not so much. The regular Odax had these, you can see them here, these little protrusion fang looking things here. They didn't stick out that much, but he did have those. But the O2, as you can see, this is the primary weapons right here for the energy layer. Another, let's do the diameter test, or to see if one is bigger than the other. And actually, you know, surprisingly, they seem to be about the same. It's just this one obviously has. This is the more prominent part, as where in the original it was more of an oval. But if you overlap them, they seem to be about the same size. They don't look to be the same, but let's just make sure to do it one more time. Okay, so they're very close. I think the O2 is slightly bigger because this here on the sword sticks out a little further. So I guess the Odax O2 is slightly bigger. But it also is more of a, I wouldn't say, it's not round, it's kind of like a rounded square, as where the original Odax is obviously an oval for the energy layer. Now let's look at the back. Immediately when you pick this up, you're going to notice this feels a lot more sturdy, and it's probably no doubt why. If you look here, you can see how much more reinforcement, which of course would be this grayish plastic you're seeing here. It has a lot more than the original Odax, so this is a lot beefier than the original. Okay, now let's go to the metal ring or the forge disc. Okay, so original Odax had a pretty simple core here, or forge disc. It's essentially a circle. Okay, yep. Now the O2 has, although overall this is a circle as well, but you can see it has those 3 points to kind of make it triangular, so it's kind of like a triangle / circle, and those protrusions actually do stick out a little. Not a lot, but they are, so you can see here. So yeah, it could hook something. It can hook my fingernail, so this is obviously a more aggressive. Yep. Okay, and now let's go to the performance tip. And there's a big change here. So on the top, of course, they all pretty much look the same. But on the bottom, you can see, yes. So the original Odax just essentially had a point, almost like a conventional top. You can look here, the Odax O2 has this little pad here, a little shoe. It's if you can look in there, it's actually like a little cup. See that? And the material is like that really dense rubber. It feels like if you've ever had what are those things called? A gasket. You know, like in your tactical flashlight, they have those O-rings to stop water from getting inside. This feels to be made of the exact same thing. And another thing to look at is, if you look here, this top, I don't know if it's going to come up in camera, you could probably see it. Can you see how you can actually see through all the way to the back here? So that is a lot different than the original, which was all closed up. But I must say, this is a really cool performance tip. We're getting a different material here, so that's a definite we'll see an improvement. It's a definite change, but I assume it has performance value. Alright, so before we get to the battle, I thought I'd show you them side by side assembled. So, of course, O2 regular. Okay. Alright, so before we get to the battle, I thought I'd go over how I'm going to test these tops, in case you haven't seen one of my videos before. So, we're not going to pit the Odax O2 against the original Odax, as this would have the advantage, and it would be an unfair fight. So instead, I'm going to pit each one of these against a common adversary, one at a time, of course. And that adversary is going to be this, the Veltrek V2. I use this pretty much for every video since I like his aggressive nature, and it usually leads to pretty interesting battles. And the battle that we're going to have coming up should be even more interesting since all of these are attack-type tops. So, well, we're going to start with the original Odax. And in all cases, for this test, I'm going to have the Odaxes being put in, dropped in the center, with the Veltrek V2 off on the side. Alright, so round one, Odax original, Veltrek V2. That. Alright, so that's an outlast from Odax. So we have 1-0 Odax in the lead. Alright, round two. Okay, yeah. Alright, so Veltrek V2 gets a ring out. Slash outlast, get 1 point. So we're at a tie. Okay, round three. And there it is. Okay, so that is obviously a burst. Veltrek V2 claims 2 points for that. So we have him as the winner for this matchup with 3 points versus 1. Okay, so let's move up to the Odax O2. Round one. Wow, okay. Okay, so Odax O2 gets his point for a ring out. Okay, round two. Okay, well, Veltrek V2 comes with a point for a simple outlast. Not by a lot, but still. Okay, so it looks like we have a tie at this point. Alright, round three. Alright, Veltrek V2 with a outlast by knockdown, I guess you can call it. So we have him being in the lead. Round four. Wow. Holy. Oh, okay. That was an exciting one. I don't have to say what happened there. You saw that more than clear enough. And he's put a piece in about every little pit. So Veltrek V2 gets his 2 points for that. Alright, so what can we take away from this? Now, initially, if you asked me what's going to happen when you put two very strong attack-type tops together in an arena, I thought every collision would end up with bits and pieces flying everywhere. And although we saw one really cool burst, overall, the points were coming from
the one top having just a little extra spin in it to outlast the other by like what 3-4 spins. And why that seems to happen is the tops spend so much time orbiting around, basically missing each other, that they finally come together only at the end because, you know, gravity pulls them towards the center, and that's when they just have their little tap fight, and the one just, again, outlasts by just a little. Now, it has been brought to my attention by someone in the comments that if I angle the launcher when I launch one of these tops that likes to orbit all over, I'm looking at you, Odax O2, if I angle the launcher, that somehow by dropping it in, it'll do a different path throughout the arena and won't do this washing machine looking thing. But for this test, I just wanted to do a straight drop in with really no special angling to kind of get an idea of like the default path that the tops use. And yeah, we saw what happened. This Odax O2 is a very aggressive top, more so just by its sheer orbiting speed. I mean, it has, and I did pull on the launcher gave it a good pull. Wasn't as hard as I could have, and even with that, you saw and heard. So this is a very interesting top. It's probably going to be the skill of being able to manage that somewhat bonkers nature of this top, but if you can manage that, you have more than enough oomph to carry you through.